Right then people, so what is going on? I am now at, windows up, Hamworthy Body Shop, and I've just received, or Richard's just received, delivery of my Aston Martin Vantage that has been crashed. So let's go in and see it for the first time. So we're in the bad boy. Now, this probably doesn't happen all that often, but I have been pleasantly surprised by my co-part experience. I was warned off before doing this that often you buy cars that are nothing what they are described as, or they've been made to look better than what they are. Now excuse my ignorance for one moment, but I didn't really know what an N420 were until now, and it's a special edition. There's only 420 of them. This one's got a lot of carbon fibre parts. Granted, one of the main ones at the front, the splitter, is damaged, but it's got a rear carbon fibre diffuser. It's got some carbon fibre fins on the side, and it is in exceptional condition. The inside here smells like fresh leather. Now, I did have intention of turning this into a bit of a race car, which is why I got a damaged one. But after chatting to Richard, he seems to think that the damage is pretty superficial and it's been wrongly classified. He doesn't think there's any structural damage at all, and in terms of why it's been given a Cat S, he thinks that they've mistaken the crash cans for a structural part, because it looks like a chassis leg. When I first saw it, I thought it was a chassis leg, but it turns out the chassis legs start quite far back on these, and there's quite an empty void where the bumper is, and the crash can is the bit that's damaged. So hopefully he's right. I was prepared to change the chassis leg if need be. It's all modular, and like I said at the beginning of the last video, as I am rebuilding this, I've got no intention of straightening anything out. My intention is to take bent parts off and put straight parts on. But yeah, I'm so happy. Right, so this is the nicest vehicle I've ever owned. It is the lowest mileage vehicle I've ever owned, and it is definitely the quickest vehicle I've ever owned, and I've not even driven it yet. I know some people say that the V8s are the slower version of it, but I mean, we'll see. And if it is too slow, then we'll see what we can do to make it a little bit quicker. So I did have intention of making this into a race car, but I feel like it'd be a little bit sacrilege to butcher something that is in this good condition, and it's got 10,000 miles on the clock. It's evidently been well looked after and been someone's pride and joy. And yeah, some of the parts I'm not a massive fan of, and I might change, but I think I'm gonna keep the ability to return it to standard, should I ever want to move it on. But I can't see myself wanting to move this car on once it's sorted. So the first port of call to get this panel off, and let's see what damage is hiding under here. So then, first impressions is it is looking reasonably okay. So the radiator doesn't look damaged. There's a little slight nick at the top here, but the main cores itself down there look reasonable. You can see where something might be hitting it there, just on the front, and we'll have to investigate that when we strip it down further. Sorry, I can't get it to focus. This main bar here, although it's not structural, I would want to replace it if it were bent, but it looks straight to me. and you can see the bar continues under the wing, and again, doesn't look bent, looks perfectly straight. I'm just going to show you why Corepart told me this had a bent chassis. Now, I didn't argue because I don't know the second thing about an Aston Martin. I know a little bit about vehicles, but I didn't know much about the Aston Martin, and the engineer seemed that he knew a lot more than me about it anyway. So I'll show you what they said to me and why they said this has got a bent chassis. Just unmount you and take you with me. So, if you look at that top bolt there, the one that's in the middle of the screen, now on top of this, I'll go the other side. Now on top of that, there's a very slight black ring, and I'll show you the emails what Corepart sent me. They basically said that because there's a black outline there, that means that the chassis behind it is therefore bent, and they were advising that the main chassis leg was bent. Now we can see, now we've got everything off, that is simply a bracket. So that's good for me, because when I rang up and asked that, that's what they told me. So when anyone else ringing up and asked that, that's what they got told. But fortunately for me, I had Richard, and I came down and spoke to him, and I spoke about that particular bolt, and he thought that they didn't really know what they were on about, and I should probably take a punt. And it turns out it's paid off. So I'm going to continue removing some of these bits on the front end, and we'll see how far we can get to before 4 o'clock today. Don't know why I just looked at my watch, I've not got one on. So a bit of a stalemate. Basically, I can't remove any of this because this is bent in, holding it all too tight and removing access to bolts. But I need to take this off. So I'm going to take this crush can off. I'm not sure what implications that's going to have because it's very tightly mounted. It might get me like that bumper bar did, but we'll see how it ends up. This is the bent chassis, which is actually a crush can. Right people, that is all for today. We've got the majority of the front end off. The good news is I can get back to the main chassis now, and I can see from the underside that it is completely straight, and I don't have to worry about changing out the main chassis leg. So the majority of the front end is off. I've left everything that's got fluid in it. I'm going to do that another time. Next job is to remove the bonnet and the wing and all the rest of this front end, and then we can evaluate what parts we need. But that's it for this video. If you're new here, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. Share it to your friends, and I'll catch you in the next video.